Welcome to LSICC. If you haven't already done so, turn off your video and mute your audio, and this will improve the bandwidth for better sound quality with our service, which we were recording for future access. Just before our final prayers, we'll have an opportunity to unblock and unmute for a few moments. And I just want to say thank you to Richie for being here to be our speaker, and what a pleasure. Thank you, Richie. Okay, now what do we do? Platforming. Statement of intent, or do I give a prayer first? I don't know. I'll do the prayer, unless you can tell me otherwise. I'm going to say this. I give thanks to Mother, Father, God for bringing us all together as we support each other in the knowing we are directed and supported through the love and power of God. Okay. And then there's a statement of intent. Okay, we continue to be fortunate to have a variety of speakers for Sunday services, and by using guest speakers, we gain wisdom from all those who share. This is a church community where we can worship the God of our own understanding, to experience the joy and be uplifted, to gain strength and inspiration we can share with others throughout the week. We invite you to join us in this celebration to nourish your spirit and to enjoy the community of kindred souls. And now, I believe it's supposed to be announcements. Carol, do you have any announcements? Does anybody have announcements? No, I guess not.
I do not.
Okay.
What are there's announcements that say Kim's class, or is that from another?
No, don't worry about those.
Okay.
Thank you. That's old.
Okay. Prayer requests, other announcements, see the website, Facebook, and emails. And then it says the principles are somewhere. Is that the same principles we read in church? I imagine it is.
Carol, I'll bet I didn't send those to you.
So, but you know what? I have them right here, Carol.
Good.
Principles.
Okay, good.
We believe in infinite intelligence, everyone. We believe that a phenomena of nature, both physical and spiritual, are the expression of infinite intelligence. We affirm that a correct understanding of such expression and living in accordance therewith constitute true religion. We affirm that the existence and identity of the individual continue after the change called death. And we believe in our universal connection in spirit, and that there is communication between the spiritual and physical worlds. And we believe that the highest morality is contained in the golden rule. Whatsoever you would that others should do unto you, do ye also unto them. And we affirm the moral responsibility of individuals, and that we make our own happiness or unhappiness as we obey or disobey nature's physical and spiritual laws. And we affirm that the doorway to reformation is never closed against any human soul here or hereafter. And we affirm that the precepts of prophecy and healing are divine attributes contained in all sacred texts. Amen. So healing, meditation, are you going to do that, Richie?
Yes, I wanted to just try a breathing exercise that I'm sure that many of you are familiar with. It comes from Dr. Andrew Weil, and it is a 4-7-8 breathing, and then a quick little body scan. And it's more to relax and open our body. If I was better with camera work, I'd have you get up and move around and do some qigong stuff. But the breathing meditation that we do in our domestic abuse intervention program men's groups is this 4-7-8, and it teaches us to reboot our brain. It has a physiological and emotional and mental rebooting effect that is really helpful. And the breathing technique is simply to breathe in for the count of 4. So if you'll try that with me, 1, 2, 3, 4, inhaling, and then hold it for 7. And then exhale for 8. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's one cycle of the breath. And if if you have any kind of respiratory problems or anything like that, this may trigger coughing, and so use your own judgment on it. It has with me, it does with our men. Often they'll start to cough, and but about 3 rounds of it are really helpful. So on our own, I'll ask you to just take a breath for the count of 4, hold it for 7, and exhale for 8. And we'll do that on our own for 3 cycles of breath. And then when it feels like we're done, I'll talk us through a little body scan. So go ahead. Okay, and then just a little body scan just to move through our body and relax any kind of tension. With this one, we'll actually start with our feet. And if you want, with each part of your body, you can scrunch it a little bit and then loosen it, like progressive relaxation. So we'll start with our feet, and you can either scrunch them and release or just feel any tension dissolve out of them. And then we move up to the calf muscles and around our shins and just feel any tension out of there drain away. And then our knees, knee joints, and any muscles and tendons around there. In our upper legs, our thighs. And then around our sitting bones, our bottom, and then around our waist. You can breathe in, and as you exhale, that's a good time to even release any tension. And then we move up to our waist, to our torso. And we breathe in, and I do tummy breathing in like you're smelling a flower, and your tummy expands, and exhale, and it contracts. And then up to the chest. And when you get up around your shoulders, if you want to even scrunch them a little bit, you can, and release them. And around the biceps, the upper arms, the lower arms. And then feel any tension drain out through your hands, through the muscles and tendons of your hands and the bones, and right out through your fingertips. And then we move up to our neck. And if you're sitting upright, you can kind of balance your head on top of your spine. Just try to feel like it's not requiring any muscle exertion to keep your head upright. It can even feel suspended as if by a string from the crown of the head. And then we go up around the jaw and release any tension there. And up around your cheekbones, around your face, even your ears. Relax your ears. Imagine that happening. And our eyes, and forehead, and up to the crown of our head. And then, if you remember when we were little kids, somebody would take their hands and put them on top of our head and pretend they broke an egg on your head, and they would run it down the sides of your head with their fingertips, and it would feel like somebody broke an egg on your head. And if you can imagine that running down your whole body, from the very top of your head all the way down through your fingertips, through your spine, through your waist, down through your legs, to your feet, and out the bottoms of your feet. And any tension just relaxes. And on a good day, that relaxation will energize you. And on a tired day, we may have lost a few people to sleep. And hopefully when we get talking, we'll wake you up. Okay, so that was that. And we'll come back to the room. And I guess I continue with the sacred text. Okay. Let's see.
We lost your other.
Oh, there we are. It just said host asked you to turn your video back on. Yeah, it seems like video is kind of going off. I'm not seeing anybody either. That's okay. Well, I'll continue here, and I hope you all come back because it was nice to see your faces. I'm going to read a short text, and this is one that when I've spoken here before, I've used it. It's a favorite of mine, and it seems to apply in so many different situations. And I think of it now because of everything that we're in. And this is from Rumi, and I'm sure you'll recognize this. Rumi offers the following advice: we must become ignorant of all we've been taught and be instead bewildered. Run from what's profitable and comfortable. If you drink those liqueurs, you'll spill the spring water of your real life. Forget safety. Live where you fear to live. Destroy your reputation. Be notorious. I have tried prudent planning long enough. From now on, I'll live mad. And as I'm saying that one, I'm also, it's like I'm wanting to add little sidebars that say, but be careful and wear a mask and wash your hands. And, so, be careful in those regards. But having to let go of an awful lot of what is familiar to us has been really difficult in the times we're living in. And so that's one that just reminds me to be brave when things are kind of ungrounded. I've had to read a lot of Pema Chodron. I revisited the book The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, and those have helped me get through a lot of what everybody in the world is going through. And when we were talking just before this, I said that I felt like pouting because of how everything in my life stopped, but then I can't feel picked on because it has happened to everybody. What I wanted to talk about a little bit today is cosmology, because that was one of the things that helped get me through some things. The last time I spoke at the church, I'm pretty sure that was the last time I spoke was, I believe it was in early December, I think. And I probably mentioned my brother-in-law that was living with us. And as predicted, he passed away here. And it turned out to be a really way more traumatic situation than we could have even anticipated, and sent our lives into quite a tailspin. And it took about 6 months for us to feel like life was getting normal again. And in that time, this pandemic has already started. But the one thing that he did really, really right, my dear brother-in-law Mikey, is he raised these amazing black labs, these dogs. And all of a sudden, these dogs, within minutes of his death, in fact, adopted us and decided that now that we're their humans. And they have made me go outside every day and get more sunshine than I would have, and see the night sky more than I would have, because I was pretty shut down for a while, and I needed to call on my sisters a lot, and on my friends. And in this breathing exercise that we just did, I had guys from my men's group say, "Are you remembering to breathe?" They were always reminding me to breathe. And other friends did that. They said, remember to breathe. And that really did. I'm not kidding. I'd be in my car and I would just feel overcome with anxiety. And a few of those deep breaths, and I would come back to center and start to believe that the world was okay. And another thing that I did is I would, one of the things that got me through was remembering our place in the universe story. 13.74 billion years, I think, is the number they're using these days. And remembering we're part of this incredible story, and it has been going on forever and will continue to go on forever. And we're within that, and to embrace that, and to feel part of that bigger picture helped me get through some of the smallness it was some awful people that kind of stepped into our lives after my brother-in-law's death. That was the trauma. And then now they are gone. They've gone away. But there was this moment where I was so completely overwhelmed with life that without community and without a sense of belonging to this, cosmic story and this awesome universe, and what the universe went through to get us all here, without that, I that, and people, I don't know how I would have gotten through. And I can understand how some people just don't make it back from something like that. So it was also a good lesson in compassion and empathy for people going through these things. These dogs are the funniest critters that I've ever met in my life, and they're kind of sneaky because they're if you've known black labs, or probably most any dogs, they use their face to get their way. They just look at you a certain way, and you feel like you want to do whatever it takes to make them happy. It's not like they're going to smile, but their sweet face, if they want to go to the dog park, that's what's going to happen. And somehow it got to be where anytime we come through the back door of the house, they get a treat. They get a milk bone when we come in the house. And somehow that evolved to where if Tammy or I come through the door, they get a treat for us walking in the house. And it's gotten a little out of hand. They haven't gotten too fat yet, so I'll go ahead and do that. It makes them happy. They're 9 years old. They turn 9 in October, and they get me outside. They make me go outside and breathe. And a few weeks ago, they wanted to go to the dog park at night, and I could tell they were getting restless. And so we went there, and it's Observation Dog Park on West 3rd Street. And I could see this huge orange moon coming up over the lake. And I thought, thank you guys, Gus and Gabby, they took me to the dog park so I could see the moon. And just a few nights ago, when it was really cloudy and it was very cold out and even kind of windy, and I was underdressed, so I thought, we'll just take a lap around the dog park. And I looked up, and there was the sky opened up, and there was this incredibly beautiful starry sky right above us. It's like it was just above the dog park for a while. And that felt like a gift. And it was really, it's the kind of thing that has gotten me through all of this. And and the other thing that came to mind this morning, is thinking about, if you've heard me talk before, I almost always recap the 4 paths of creation spirituality of the Via Positiva. That celebration and acknowledgement of beauty and joy and all that we can take in through our senses. And joy is not optional. It's mandatory. And the Via Negativa is to dare the darkness and be with the darkness when necessary, and to be with grief and despair, to understand that that's part of life, and sometimes naming what's going on so we can deal with it. But it's also a gift, because in the darkness we can see the stars, and in silence we can meditate, and it's in silence where we hear the divine. And the Via Creativa, the divine artist in each of us, our own creativity, and cosmology would probably fit into that, the creative universe, and our invitation to give birth in every imaginable kind of way, and the Via Transformativa, which is about compassion and social justice, and coming home back to the Via Positiva, into all these paths. And these are a way of naming our experience and framing our experience, and and at times like now for checking in. And and honestly, I've been, I'm someone, and I kind of got this from Matthew Fox, where his critique of some ways of doing things in spirituality are to feel the need to pour light onto everything right away, and kind of fear or disregard the darkness, and we're encouraged to dare the darkness and be with it, befriend it, and be able to name it and not have to run from it. But I also realize that in times like this, where this is chronic, this has been going on for a long time, this pandemic and the political strife and racism, and we are seeing things in 2020 that are kind of blowing our minds and overwhelming us, as far as not just the intensity, but the chronic nature of it. And one of the things we say about the via negativa is don't dwell there. And here we are, we're kind of being asked to dwell here. But we also, this is where joy becomes all the more mandatory, or we will curl up and give up. So, taking in what your senses can take in and finding things that you can do to get through this, to survive this, to still enjoy life, is more vital now than it ever has been. And this is one time where I make an exception and I say, shine some light on it. You can dare the darkness, but have a nightlight, and have one of those happy lamps that gives you some rays of sunshine when it's dark out for a long time. And if you can sit in a window with the sun shining on your face, and be aware of depression, because as so many of us know, depression and grief aren't the same thing. I mean, they're related, but we have to be really mindful of taking good care of depression and seeking help where we need it, seeking community where we can find it. For me, that's the St. John's wort works, but if it ever comes to it, I will, get a prescription medication for it, because I have a cycle of depression, and it's not a bad mood, as anybody who's dealt with it knows. You don't just cheer up. And it's the same with anxiety, and then with trauma. This was a crash course in PTSD for me. I'm actually going to talk to somebody about it and work through it with a PTSD specific type therapy, because what happened here in December last year was it was just too much. It was too much for Tammy. It was too much for me. And these dogs have gotten us through it. And then when the pandemic hit, and all the things that I do, like music and Tai Chi and stuff that I love to do, stopped, I found a friend who I can still meet. We meet in a field or a cemetery, and we go through Qigong exercises. And I thought my idea was to do some woodshedding and become the best guitar player on the planet during all this. It didn't take long for me to get pretty bored with myself, because I love playing in a band. And so I still play guitar. I've been messing around with my guitar equipment just to try some new sounds. But mostly I learned some new Qigong exercises, and have been walking with the dogs a lot, and found other, and then we did find ways. We started doing our men's groups as individual phone calls, and it was really difficult. But throughout this, I've had to make some serious adjustments to my understanding of the four paths of creation spirituality. And I've had to really embrace the idea of cosmology and put myself into that big picture of the universe, so I don't get too much in my head and get depressed about what's going on and what's not going on. So with that, I think I would close with saying that I'm grateful for this community. I don't see you as often as you see each other, but I'm grateful that you're here. I think I've said that just about every time I've spoken at the church. And I had a funny thought this morning that I'm somebody who's never thought that church is about the building. I mean, Gloria Day Church, I worked there, and they had a fire, and they rebuilt this spectacular new building. And I've been in there once, you know, and it's really nice. But have to admit, I really miss your little church. It's just such a beautiful sacred space. And I just feel, I walk in the door, and from the time I walk in the door to when I leave, I just feel good there, feel safe. And your community has a way of letting people know that they're loved and cared for. And I'm grateful for that. And if you're doing that on Zoom, my goodness, thank you for that too. Keep it up. So as we say in AA, with that I'll pass.
So do I speak now? I guess so.
Yes.
Thank you, Richie, for this most awesome talk and from your heart in this sharing. So anyway, it's all good. So thank you so much. And we appreciate you for being here on this beautiful snowy day. So let's see, we do normally, then we'd have an offering. So I would just say, you know, encourage people to donate from your heart as you can. Send all donations to LSICC. You can send them to 1414 East 9th Street, Duluth, 55805. Or if we do, I don't know yet if we have an online banking system set up for people. We're probably working on it. I have so much to learn. We're just beginning. But anyway, I just want to say thank you to everybody. So now the next thing, unmute and unblock for a minute or two or whatever to see each other and greet each other. Unblock. Click, click, click. Hey, Lisa. There we are.
Okay.
Yeah.
I miss the handshakes and hugs and everything.
Yeah.
Cool.
Virtual hugs, virtual hugs.
You got right in there.
Yay.
You dug right in for me. Thank you.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you very much, Rick.
Ours didn't
Thank-
go on.
Thank you so much.
Unmuted, they can hear us.
I'm unmuted, but it says the host has to put me back on the video. I don't know if that's for other people too. I can't.
Could be.
Yeah, I'm not on either.
It says the host has to asked you to start your video. When I say start my video, then it says, oh, there it is.
Ah,
Hi, Carol.
Charlie's back.
we don't get on there either.
I can't see everybody.
Oh, we only
Where'd
you.
everybody go?
We only
Hi,
seen.
Harvey.
Are you on gallery?
Yeah, I'm hitting it here, trying to get it here.
I wanted to say thank you to Richie. I wanted to share, Richie, with you that I also have been getting out and about every day. I started a weight loss journey last November and walked for 10 minutes, 20 minutes. I am now up to walking 5 to 6 miles a day.
Oh,
Yeah.
good.
Wow.
But for
Wow.
90% of the COVID period of time, I have been outside, and it's almost, I almost wish I had a dog to be able to say, okay, dog, let's go for a walk. And
Yeah.
I just had to drag myself out there, and it's been getting out in the nature and getting out in looking around and seeing what's going on and seeing people, whether they're driving on the road or they're also taking a walk, and being very attentive to what the weather is doing. And I'm sure for you it has helped also to be able to get out there with the dogs and to be aware of what's going on around you, to help all of us bring us out of this darkness.
Yeah, it felt like we were left to take care of these dogs, but actually they were left here to take care of us, and they've done a very good job, and they've kept us laughing and going outdoors whether we want to or not. Because I wouldn't have, to be honest with you, I'm not that disciplined. Yeah, yeah, so they, yeah, I've heard that dog adoptions have gone way up during the COVID thing, and I hope everybody keeps their dogs once everything gets normal again. But yeah, that's a great, and that's amazing. I've never walked 5 or 6 miles. That's
I haven't either.
yeah. I try to run with them and I hurt myself every time. So yeah. Yeah, thank you for that.
Thank you.
Okay, so-
Richie, it was such a heartful message from you. Thank you so much for
Yeah.
walking with us and opening doors that are here for all of us in some way or other. But your sharing really makes it all easier
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
for all the others. Yeah. And I'm glad you're doing better. I'm glad
Yeah.
those four-leggeds are, I have never heard that story, that phrase before, but taking care of the dogs, no, they're really kind of taking care of you.
Yeah, they sure are. They're sitting off to the left of me, looking at me with their bored face. Why are you talking to that screen when we're supposed to be at the park? It's really funny.
Could you show them? Could you show them to us?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Okay. The cuteness.
They're crashed out on the floor.
Oh,
Hey Gus. Hey Gus.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah.
I love it. Oh, there was a tail. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
oh,
Could we
Yeah.
get out too
Thank
sometime?
you.
thank you.
Love it too.
And the other dog Gabby is we have to throw a toy for her. It's called her duck. And if she hasn't done it for a while, she'll come up to us and she's actually trembling. She's going into play withdrawal and yeah, that'll happen any minute now. But yeah, that has been, it's seriously been a really good, and we also sometimes they spend the weekends at Tammy's sister Tara's, and so it's a nice arrangement, best of all worlds if we need a break too, but they're just a joy to have around, and it's kind of it's kept things feeling steady when music stopped and when work is iffy, like we just started doing in-person men's groups. We did one group and we're going to stop doing it because of the numbers of COVID going up. We just thought it's in poor taste to start getting together in person at this moment. So, yeah. And I hope you've all been doing, all right. And I know this has been incredibly difficult for everybody. I can't even imagine everybody's different stories and what you do and don't have for support. But this community is really a godsend. Literally, it's a church community.
It is.
It is.
We get down, we feel frustrated, empty at times, but all we have to do is hear one story about a friend or relative who has COVID, and it puts it back in perspective, doesn't it?
Yep. Yeah, I'm starting, they said everybody pretty soon will know somebody, and I have a young, it's my niece's daughter. She's, I think, 22. She and her boyfriend got it. And so that's the first in our family, and they got pretty sick. They're just staying at home, and they're going to be okay, I think. But yeah, and there's a lot of us that just can't risk this,
Right.
And it was funny, when this started and they said older people like in your 60s, and I went, oh, thanks for that. And all of a sudden I'm an older person, and I better not get sick, I won't make
Or
it.
your
So,
70s, yeah.
yeah, but that's
Yeah.
it.
I got news. That's not old.
Yeah.
It's older, just
I was
older.
still climbing ladders
Yeah.
and walking on roofs when I was 60.
Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah. I'm getting afraid of that.
My daughter and 2 grandchildren both got this,
Oh,
and
Oh, God.
they're fine now.
Good.
But yeah, my daughter was the one who got the sickest. She got it from her 4-year-old, and then, the 6-year-old wouldn't leave mom's side while she was sick, so he got it. So they're on the mend, and my granddaughter will go back to school on Monday, and my grandson gets to go back to school on Thursday. But it's interesting that my son-in-law has been negative the whole time, and he's right there with them. So we have no clue how this works.
Yeah.
Son got it, and he was okay through it, but he's been having some serious repercussions after that have laid him out for days at a time. It's just not good. And I'm older. I would have expected I'd be the one, and he's healthy and an athlete, and you just don't know. So
I would like to ask that all of us gathered today would put in some extra prayer for everybody we know and everybody we don't know
yes.
who has the virus.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And further, because I have the actual ears of everyone, I think the only one who might be on this call that's maybe younger than me is Andrew. I won't be 59 for another couple of weeks.
Whoa,
So you're young.
I'm a young whippersnapper still.
just
And
a kid.
I just bought a little
Oh,
freezer,
that's
and
all.
I'm going to be going to the store to Target to pick up some things. I tried to order a bunch of things for curbside pickup, and their freezers are filled. But anybody who's on this call, or anybody who knows somebody else in our church community, if they need me to pick some things up, I don't want to go out on a lot of individual trips, but I'm happy to add things and deliver. So let me know if you'd rather not go out. I would easily volunteer. I've got the time and the ability to do that, and y'all know how to get a hold of me.
A blessing. Blessing.
Thanks, Lisa.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Lisa, would you like me to send a group email to that effect, or would that be too much?
I'm going to start with the folks that are here. But if you hear through word of mouth, and if there's anybody else who would like to offer that up too, because I just don't, I want to say yes, but I don't know if that means that suddenly 40 people would call me, and then I would
Right.
have a lot of
Right.
logistics to take care of. But I'm happy to do it for the people who are here, and just get a hold of me. If I don't have a lot of people, I'll let you know, Carol, and then we'll put it out. And if more people are in need, I'll make some arrangements.
Thank you for your generous offer.
Yeah, absolutely. And that would be one way I'd get to see you in person. You would come all the way to the city for me.
Okay. See you, Phyllis.
Road trip.
Padre.
Or to Florida for Harley.
Yeah, even better.
Yeah. Hey, Lisa, I need some things.
Okay. We got it, Harley. I'm coming your way, honey.
And we got lots of sunshine down here, so come on.
Beautiful. Carol, Coyote?
Yeah, so I don't know if these come through, but I did a little sketch from actually something else, but it reminds me while you're talking, what I see in my little sketch, these little things here are all of our healing
love bombs.
medicine is waiting for anybody who wants it. We're always giving it out. And of course, Richie, you symbolize this for all of us. You are this wonderful conduit for us today, so thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
That
That's
looks
beautiful.
like the 7 of Cups in tarot, Carol.
It wasn't original. I was copying off of an old Mother Peace tarot card.
That's what I thought. Yep, I recognized it.
Beautiful.
Number 7, if anybody's into numerology.
Yes, 7 of Cups. The message of that card is that we can have it all, pick one thing, focus on it, and it will give you all the others. It will overflow into everything. So pick love, peace, whatever, and whatever quality of God, spirit you want, and you will have all of them. Thank you, Carol. Beautiful. Thank you, Richie, for
I don't know if it helps other people, but when I do something like this, or even if you paint by number, you just start singing and humming. It's like, it's very, very healing. And listening to Richie, of course, was that way for me. So thank you, Richie.
Oh, thank you. Tammy took up diamond painting. Have you heard of that? It's little tiny squares, and she sits there with this little tweezers, and you pick up one at a time and you stick it onto it. It takes forever to do it. It's kind of like stained glass with itty bitty squares, and she ordered all the stuff online and brought it home, and she wasn't sure if she was going to like it. She absolutely loves it, and it's very meditative. She spends hours on it, and she just really likes it, and she just finished her first one. And that's something that, you know, without what's going on, I don't know if she would have ventured into that, you know. So yeah, looking for the gifts in this stuff too.
Hi, Tammy.
Can we see the piece?
Huh?
Can we see the piece that you did? Would you share that, or I don't want to pressure it?
I actually don't know where it is right now. She has it all in a little kit, and it's in a bag. It looks like a satchel, and she puts it in there. She probably wouldn't want me to show it until it's because it also has to be framed then, and then it really comes together. But I don't even know. It looks like thousands of pieces, and it's a really cool art as meditation.
Didn't unmute us.
What? What did?
He didn't on. Can you hear?
Yeah.
I can hear you,
Oh,
Dean and Terry.
Yep.
Okay, good. Blessings and blessings for you. All the best to you.
Hi, Louise. Oh, she's muted. Oh.
Okay.
We love you, Louise, even though we can't see you, and John and Carolyn and Janet.
Yeah.
Should we go ahead and do the church affirmation, or unless we'd like to visit some more? We ready to?
Really happy to see you all. Brings the north back to me. And all
Good to see you too. Yeah.
Yes.
Very good to see you.
Yes.
Very nice.
Stand here.
Okay, good for everyone. Love and light, peace and joy.
So we'll do the church affirmation now.
Okay.
We totally accept the belief that God is in charge of the affairs and direction of LSICC. We know that as our thoughts of trust and joyful anticipation join in harmony with the thoughts of all the members of this fellowship, we attract the right ministerial leadership to our spiritual community, and we are grateful.
Amen.
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 And I don't have a benediction. I don't even know what to say. If somebody wants to do a benediction.
Richie's
I will.
got one.
No. I only want to remind you that joy is mandatory, and to and open up all of your senses. You know, that's creation spirituality. Our tradition is a sensual spirituality. So, you know, everything from, you know, good smells and how the air feels outside, and good food and everything. So that, but I know that Carol was going to do a benediction. Mine would just be to soak it all in, because we need all the joy we can get right now.
Yes.
So good.
Yes.
Love you all.
Thank you, Richie.
Thanks, Richie.
The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Be in peace and joy and love. Thank you. Have a love-filled, joy-filled, peace-filled week, moment by moment.